My name is Nick Chapman. I'm the Greenway Place Manager at the Inner West Council. Probably the Premier's priority is fundamentally about equitable access.
Because if people are kind of doing going everywhere, if you could at least direct where people are going, then it reduces the amount of risk.
Yeah,
if that's the right.
Cars need to just turn here instead of trying to go around the roundabout as well.
Ideally, the access will be on foot, on a bike, or by public transport, rather than relying on driving and parking.
So they could still, maybe you could just put some of the main desire lines. Are you allowed to do marketing?
Yeah.
My name's Leonard Smith. I'm a potter by profession, but well before I was a potter, my first career was as a flour miller, and I worked in the Mungo Scott mill for about 10 years in the late 60s, early 70s. Well, I was one of the there were 3 shift millers. The mill ran 24/7, 24/5 with maintenance on Saturdays, but the mill itself was very large. That one was the largest mill in the Southern Hemisphere. It was putting out about 12.5 tonnes an hour of flour, but there were only 5 people working it. Really there was the miller who set the mill up, that was me, and then there was someone on the top floor and a cleaner and someone feeding the wheat in, and that was it. That's all that went on during the night time, the mill itself. Ancillary to that, there was a whole office, there was cartage, there was trucks and transport. There was a laboratory where they tested the flour, where I was taught to make bread, because what else were we doing but making flour for bread a lot of the time. The site we're on here was basically a light industrial area. It was just full of some larger storages and warehouses, small manufacturing, welding workshops and things like that. So there was sort of that light industrial feel to it.
Hi, I'm Sally Kiddle. I've come on board with help Elisa as the role of an environmental artist. So I've brought my experience working in the land, making site-responsive artworks to work with her landscape architecture experience to help get the students to respond. Bringing artwork and design into that, again, it makes that sense of space where everyone feels comfortable, that they want to come together, come out of their isolated units. Particularly somewhere like this, people can be very lonely and isolated in their units. If you create a space where people want to come out to and hang out in, they meet their neighbours. They find who lives next door to them. That if you can create this sense of space, it makes a stronger, secure community, and maybe they'll also care for their space better too. It's so important, I think, people's happiness.
My name's Deborah Lennis. I'm a proud Dharawal woman, a local elder, and as I said, the Aboriginal, the cultural advisor to the CEO for Inner West Council. Lived in the area for about 30 odd years. I do as an elder in the local area, I do our welcome to countries in language. So I'm learning our language again. But the area is part of the Eora Nation, so it's the Gadigal and Wongal lands of the Eora Nation, and there was 29 different languages that were spoken between the Hawkesbury River to the north, Nepean to the east, and Georges to the south. Here down at Lewisham, originally it was ironbark forests with sandstone and on Guatemala shale. There was a watercourse that ran across this area. Through colonisation, that watercourse has lost its way, which is why you find that the plants grow really well around this area. I mean, look at how mature they are. They've also got fruit and food sources on them. So there was a lot of swimming, a lot of waters, a lot of eels. Kangaroo grounds were just over in Marrickville, so not that far away.
The original concept is ask people to focus on some area and some specific spots you usually just ignore. Just like when you're walking on the path, normally you will like focusing on the front, or you just focus on your phone. But this structure is trying to encourage people to look around and look on the side to notice some specific elements with history value or some knowledge of the plants and something like that. And so I developed this idea and produced some wooden structures. So consider this one as the photo frame or camera. So a lot of stuffs lay out around this area and ask people to encourage people to use this area, to use this line instead of like directly cross this roundabout. So all these spots are encouraging people to discover some interesting information, to notice about this area which is full of heritage value.
Yeah, I would say identify the heritage of the mill, the heritage of the old community, the heritage of the railway.
I wanted to play with that notion of movement, and I observed how people moved around that intervention, and I noticed that people would, purposely avoid it or look at the object or the sticks.
Yep.
And that got me thinking about how I can kind of create interaction and a community dialogue through just moving through spaces, more like highlighting the movement of people throughout the site already. The roundabout creates a disconnect between the routes and between the paths.
We've just had this afternoon a series of presentations from the students of the ideas that they've been working on through the semester. And our task in the audience was to hear them out, ask a few questions, get a bit of clarification, and then we needed to vote. And that was actually quite a difficult task because we had 7 students working on the project and 7 very strong ideas were presented to us. We've ended up recommending that they develop 3. One might be impractical, so it might come back to 2. And that's the task for the next 5 days, is for the students to actually implement those ideas, taking on board some of the feedback that we've given them this afternoon. And we're really looking forward to coming back here at 4 o'clock next Saturday to see the finished work and to have a bit of a party to celebrate all the work and effort that they put in over the last semester.
This has been a massive learning curve for them. You bring students out of the university environment where they're working on their laptops and working at tables inside a building, designing concepts and ideas all on paper. We've brought them out of that site. We're working on site in a room locally to our site, our design area. Suddenly they've got this massive challenge that they've got to make this thing work that they've been playing with on computers and on paper. And to bring it alive, they've realised how challenging that is.
My input would have been the design of the route or the route, which follows a trail throughout the site, and it brings people towards the different windows that highlight the different landmarks within the site. So creating that trail that follows throughout the site, which kind of resembles a multitude of things, from the ecologies that would have existed, such as the swamplands, and also just mapping out the desire lines, which is really important in the site.
the string kind of gives you a bit of a sight line, what to look out for, and the string up there, the strings tend to give you a bit of an outline of the building. for example.
Oh yes, I can see these.
Yeah,
I
those
can
ones.
see these outlines.
Well, first of all, I think we need to show some respect of the heritage we've got already in the place, and after that, we need to figure out what people's like and what they didn't like, and after we have enough survey and that kind of study, we can start to design the space and our living area.